Hello everyone, my name is Olivia and I am so excited to start this video, and this is going to be my first ever reading for 24 hours video, but it has a bit of a twist. I asked over in my Discord, which anyone can join and is linked in my description, whether or not I should do an actual reading vlog where I read all day for one specific day, or if I take a page out of Allison Page's books and I actually time myself reading, and over the course of a handful of days, I read until I hit 24 hours that I have spent fully reading. So every time I would pick up a book, I would set my timer, I would read for, let's say, 2 hours straight. Then I would add the 2 hours to my roster, and then I keep doing that and keep doing that until I hit 24 hours of full reading time. So I thought I would do that version because I think it's a little bit more realistic. I don't think a lot of people have the opportunity to read for 24 hours straight. I most certainly do not because I don't have the attention span for it, and I also don't want to ruin my sleep schedule, even though it's already pretty much ruined because of insomnia. I don't want to ruin it more than it already is ruined. So that's what this video is going to be. I have a pile of books here that I want to get to over the course of this 24-hour reading vlog, and I'm excited about every single one of them. So the first thing that I have here, I'm probably going to read in one sitting, and it is the Past Lives Zine that A24 gave me because I'm a triple A24 member, and they give out zines or zines every quarter of the year, and this one is for Past Lives, and I recently saw Past Lives with my best friend Sarah, and we both really loved the movie. It was just a gorgeously shot film that has so much heart and has so much yearning, which you all know I love, and I've been saving this because I wanted to read it after I finally saw the movie, and now that I have, I can finally read this. So I think I'm most definitely going to start with this first because it is so tiny and I want the instant gratification of being able to finish something in this vlog, but then I have 3 full-size novels that I do want to try out. The first one is Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I previously read Normal People for the first time and fell in love with Sally Rooney's writing, and I really want to get to this, and my friend Romy over on Instagram said that this book made them cry in the middle of a grocery store. So I'm very excited by the prospect of this because I do want to read a sad book. Then I have the final Emily Henry book that I have not read yet because I've read all of her other books so far, and it is People We Meet on Vacation. I'm not really sure if I'm going to love or dislike this book, but here's the thing. I've really enjoyed Funny Story by Emily Henry, which I got an e-arc of, and I also fell in love with Happy Place. So I'm not sure if this has the same vibes as those 2 books because I didn't end up enjoying Beach Read and Book Lovers. So this book is the 5th book in her whole entire collection, and I don't know which side it's going to fall on. So I'm intrigued by it, but I'm also very hesitant to start it. And then I have an arc of Anyone's Ghost by August Thompson. This was given to me by Penguin Press, and this is an extraordinary debut novel in which the transforming love and friendship between 2 young men during one unforgettable teenage summer in rural New England haunts them into adulthood. This one I am eager to start because I was provided with the arc and I do want to share my thoughts about it before the book is published in July, but I don't know if I'm going to fall in love with it. I'm very hesitant by all 3 of these books because they all have the opportunity to become either new favorites of mine or also become new books that I did not like because they all feel very polarizing. So I think my plan is to obviously read this, get the satisfaction of being able to finish it, and then I'm going to try out a chapter of each one of these books. And if there's a book that I pick up where I really enjoyed the first chapter and I want to keep going, we're gonna put the others to the side and really focus on that read because I want to focus on reading as much as possible. Obviously, we have to hit 24 hours of straight reading, and I need a good book to help me do that. I don't want to read a book that I'm not going to enjoy. Before we move on to day 2 of this 24-hour reading vlog, I wanted to say a special thank you to this video's sponsor, Teddy Blake. I've previously worked with Teddy Blake before, and they have sent me over a beautiful brown handbag and a green purse that I absolutely love. These purses are handcrafted in Italy with premium leather. Every time I use these purses, my friends always compliment the pieces, and I absolutely love them. And Teddy Blake is actually having a spring sale currently. So if you head to the link in my bio, you can get up to 70% off of their beautiful purses. Their purses come in all shapes, sizes, and colors, and they are these luxurious pieces without the luxury price. So if you want to check out Teddy Blake, be sure to click the link in my bio to go see their sale and get yourself a beautiful piece for this spring. So thank you so much to Teddy Blake for sponsoring this video, and be sure to go check out their sale. It is day 2, and so far I have only read for an hour and 6 minutes, which is not good in the grand scheme of things. At that rate, it would take me about a month to finish this challenge because I want to read for 24 full hours, but I'm hoping today I will have a lot more time to read. I do have my Cinebun Club screening tonight at 7, which is my digital movie club over on my Discord. We are watching Singing in the Rain together for the theme of movie musicals this month, so that will eat up a lot of time tonight that could be spent reading, but I do want to give you a reading update so far. I was able to finish the Past Lives zine, which was a really nice zine. It had a lot of quotes from filmmakers and writers about Inyon, which is this concept that people who are destined to be together have been together throughout multiple lifetimes, and it had a couple of conversations between couples about how they met and how they have this idea that they have known each other for lifetimes. And I think it's just a really romantic concept, and it just kind of furthered my love for Past Lives, the film. So I'm really glad I was able to finish this. And then for the hour that I spent reading last night, I was able to read 50 pages of Anyone's Ghost. And I have a lot of feelings about this book so far that are not particularly positive, but it's just my own personal preference. It's not really the novel, it's just how I'm consuming it. So we follow Theron and Jake, who are teenagers, and they initially meet because Theron is spending the summer with his father, and his father wants him to mature and have more responsibility. So he signs him up to work at a hardware store where Jake works at, and they immediately form a friendship and hang out after work together. But they both have this careless, bad attitude that teenagers tend to have, and I will admit I also had as a teenager, but now that I'm 26 years old, am I 26? I think I am 26. Now that I'm 26 years old, I have matured, and I can view that attitude as something that's incredibly negative and something that I don't enjoy being in the mindset of. While I can understand that I was in that position, I just no longer feel connected to it, and that's what I'm feeling currently with Anyone's Ghost. So I'm not really connecting with Theron and Jake, but I am 50 pages through the novel, and around the 100-page mark, I think it flashes forward to their 20s and how their relationship evolves over the course of a decade. So I'm excited to eventually get to that point in the novel because I do think I'll enjoy it more, because that will be a time period where they mature and they change and they grow, and I think they'll break apart from this existential, bad, rebellious attitude that really grates against me because I just don't enjoy reading about it personally. So I'm going to go to my front porch and read more of this, and hopefully I can read around 2 to 3 hours today, because then that will make a dent in my 24-hour quota that I have to fill. Hopefully, maybe I can finish this book by like hour 5 or 6 in this challenge, and then we can move on to other books on my TBR. I've officially read for 1 hour today, and I'm exactly 100 pages into Anyone's Ghost, and while I'm not particularly enjoying it, I did get a package in the mail from Merit Beauty, which is such an honor that they reached out to me to send me some lipsticks. So I wanted to unbox this on camera for you guys. So they sent me their signature lip matte, which is a lightweight soft matte lipstick that feels like nothing on your lips, and it came in a cute little bag that comes with each first order from Merit Beauty. So here I have the color Power, which is a beautiful classic red lip. It is so beautiful. It isn't too blue and it isn't too red. It's like a perfect neutral. And then we have their classic shade, which is a light pink. And I'm gonna try this one on and see what I think of it. I also think the packaging is absolutely beautiful and really unique. I absolutely love this color. It's the perfect nude for my skin tone and I'm so happy with it. So thank you so much to Merit Beauty for giving me these two lipsticks to try out. I'm very honored that they sent this my way and it's nice to be able to unbox in this video. It is day 3 and yesterday I read for 3 hours and 2 minutes, so my total now is 4 hours and 8 minutes, which doesn't seem like a lot. I need to pick up the pace, but today I read for 30 minutes and I finally finished Anyone's Ghost, and boy oh boy am I glad I finally finished this book because I was not a fan of it. This definitely seems like the type of book where it's me, not the book. I do think the story has the chance to connect with readers and it does seem like a very nice literary fiction, but it just was not for me. I couldn't connect to the characters, I couldn't connect to the storyline, but I do think that other readers would connect to it if they enjoy Catcher in the Rye or if they enjoy maybe even A Little Life. But for me, I just could not connect to the story and I was not invested in it, so I was slogging through the story while I was reading and it made time feel so much slower than it was. So I'm so glad I was able to finally finish this. I finished 2 things so far in this reading vlog and now I'm going to move on to Conversations with Friends. I picked Conversations with Friends to read next because I love Sally Rooney's writing in Normal People and I'm really excited to read another book by her, but also it has less pages than People We Meet on Vacation, so I'm kind of going by page order and I'm slowly but surely getting to the longest book on my mini TBR for this video. And I'm also wearing the red lipstick that Merit Beauty gave me and I absolutely love it. So this book ended up taking about 4 hours, maybe 4.5 hours for me to finish, which is pretty good. In all honesty, I ended up skimming like the last 20 pages of this book because again, I just could not connect to it and I was not invested, but it took me around 4.5 hours to finish this. So now I'm wondering how many hours it would take me to finish Conversations with Friends. I think it will take a little bit longer because it's slightly longer, but also I want to ruminate over the text, annotate it, highlight, and I do think that will take a longer amount of time to finish this book, but we shall see. Let's see if 4 hours is the kind of average time that it takes for me to finish a 300-page book. I also forgot to say I got Swift and Saddled from Random House yesterday, and this is the sequel to Done and Dusted, which is a cowboy romance that I previously mentioned in a Books and Brews video, and this is the sequel following the brother of the main character in the first novel and his love story, and it centers around Weston, who is trying to renovate a house on his family's property, and Ada is the interior designer, so they have to work together in close quarters, and I am so excited to read this. I already feel so called out by this book. I'm 43 pages into it, and our main character, Frances, every time she interacts with other people, she's constructing a personality that she thinks will gain their approval. And I'm like, I thought I was like the only one who did that. She literally calls it a character, and I'm like, I do that. So now I feel like I'm reading about myself, but I'm intrigued. I read those 43 pages so easily, and I'm hoping maybe that I can read up to page 150 today, but being realistic, I'm hoping maybe I can just hit 100. I can't read that fast, although I did finish Anyone's Ghost pretty quickly, but this one I want to take my time with. I want to kind of cherish each page because Sally Rooney, she knows how to make me feel seen. But then again, she's just writing about mentally ill 20-year-olds, and I'm like, it's not hard to feel seen with that. Welcome to day 5. I did not give you any updates during day 4. I just kind of put my head down and read, and I wasn't really in the mood to film. But I did want to say that on day 4, which was Saturday, I read for 3 hours and 40 minutes. And I read a large chunk of Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney, and this took me a lot longer to finish than Anyone's Ghost, I think because I really had to ruminate with the narrative, with the characters, and I had to take a lot more time to digest this story compared to Anyone's Ghost, which I was very lukewarm about. So I didn't finish Conversations with Friends yesterday, but today I read for 2 more hours and finally finished this book. And I think this is my second favorite Sally Rooney book so far because I previously read Normal People, and that one is my top tier favorite. I underlined the heck out of that book. I connected so much with the characters, and I just really enjoyed the storyline of that novel. And Conversations with Friends really made me think. It made me think on an equal level as Normal People. Both of these novels are great conversation starters. It's a great way to analyze characters and motivations and personalities and the way that people self-sabotage their life and also the relationships around them. And I do think that's a prevalent theme throughout both of her novels. I don't know if it's going to be present in Beautiful World, Where Are You? But I'm really intrigued to see how she handles those relationships because there's going to be 4 characters that we follow in that novel, but for this novel we only follow Frances and her relationship to Melissa and Nick, who are married, and her best friend Bobby, who's also involved in this very weird dynamic where all these characters are kind of pushing the boundaries and the line of monogamy and what it means to be in a relationship and what it means to be happy. It made me wonder what she wanted out of this entire story because I feel like I couldn't get a good read on her, and she constantly felt like a character that leaned heavily on being mean and being off-putting in order to project her insecurities onto others. And that was a really interesting character to be in the mind of because she felt so different. She felt so off-putting. She was this character where you just kept wanting to shake her and be like, why are you saying this to the people that you claim to love? Why are you purposely hurting them? Is it because you're pushing them away because you're afraid of vulnerability? And I thought that entire exploration throughout the whole entire novel was fascinating. And I also messaged my friend about it because they previously read Conversations with Friends, and I said I find it fascinating and somewhat relatable that a lot of the tough discussions in this book are handled through text message and email, and it made me realize that these characters are very afraid of confrontation. They're afraid of losing the plot of a discussion and a potential fight because all of these characters have very hard personalities. They brush up against each other. They're very determined to win an argument if they were to get into one. And the way that they handled all these very tough conversations were through email, which provides a sense of control. When you email someone or when you text someone, you get to share all your thoughts. They have to ruminate what you thought, and then they reply to you. And it's a much more kind of balanced conversation compared to a face-to-face conversation, which can devolve into a fight because Frances and Bobby have very tough exteriors. They're very confrontational and they're very intimidating, and Frances is an intimidating character. She's an intimidating character to both read from and also witness how she reacts to other characters, and I found this to be a very interesting book. I would love to see how other people break it down. I would love to see how other people interpreted it. But I think it is interesting to name it Conversations with Friends because I feel like no one was actually friends with each other. And it was also interesting because all these conversations felt very one-sided or felt very hostile or felt unhealthy in a way. So it's kind of dissecting how people can be very unhealthy while they're trying to explore different aspects of their life, like monogamy, like extramarital affairs, and what it means to become an adult and your place in the world. This was such an interesting book. I think I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I don't think I can give it a full 5 stars, again, because I just could not get a read of these characters. I felt so distanced from Frances, even while being in her mind, because she's so averse to being vulnerable, but I also greatly enjoyed the story. I flew through it. I loved it. I loved being in this world, and I really do enjoy Sally Rooney's writing, but I didn't connect to it personally the way that I connected to normal people. And I think that's the point. I think you're not supposed to connect to this one as much because these people refuse to have actual connections. So now I'm going to move on to People We Meet on Vacation. I'm trying to give Friends to Lovers another shot, and I do think that Emily Henry might be the one who wins me over with that trope. And I am just very excited to kind of get through another book. This 24-hour reading challenge has been incredibly difficult because I did not realize how long a day truly is, but it also has inspired me and kind of pushed me to finish a ton of books, because throughout 24 full hours you can read a lot of books, and if you were less distracted and a faster reader than me, you could probably read even more books if you have that type of reading speed. I never really filmed from this angle, but I think I have to do this more often. So, we are up to day 7. It is Tuesday. I did not film any updates on Monday, but I want you to know I read 3 hours and 12 minutes, and we are at a total of 18 hours and 5 minutes. So I have 6 hours left to complete this challenge, and I'm so excited to finish this challenge because I have spent so many hours reading. I don't like realizing how long a day truly is, but I am about 40% through People We Meet on Vacation, and I'm really enjoying it. Emily Henry has a gift and the ability to make me laugh while I'm reading. That doesn't happen too often when reading books. I will say I'm not loving it as much as I love Happy Place and Funny Story, which hold a place in my heart that no other book can by Emily Henry, and I'm going to try and get 3 hours of reading in today, because then that will leave me with 3 hours for the next day, and that will complete the challenge and will be free, and I'll never have to do this again, because I did not realize how much I don't enjoy doing a time-based challenge. This is not for me, but it is a great opportunity for me to finally read a ton of books on my TBR, because I've already read 2 books. This will be my 3rd, and I think I'll be able to finish it by tomorrow. I'm finding People We Meet on Vacation to be such a slow book. It's so much slower than Conversations with Friends, in my opinion, and I've been reading for 2 hours now, and I have been checking my phone along the way. But I'm finding that I'm making such little progress with the amount of hours that I put into this book, because the chapters keep going between the past and the present, and that's really taking me out of the overall narrative, and I just wish it was just streamlined and stopped flip-flopping back and forth between 2 different time periods. Guys, we finally finished the 24-hour reading challenge, and I never want to do this again. This was so stressful. It took so many days to complete. It kind of sucked the fun out of reading because I had to time how often I was reading, and then I had to make sure I was reading up to 3 hours a day in order to complete it by a certain time frame that I set for myself, and it was just too stressful for me. I like to read at my own pace. I like to read as leisurely as I want to, and adding this challenge element really stressed me out, but I did end up reading 4 things. I finished the Past Lives zine, which I really enjoyed. I finished Anyone's Ghost, which I think I gave 2 stars to. I was not a fan. It was not for me. I'm glad I finally finished it because it was really difficult to get through because I was not invested in the plot or the characters. Then I read another Sally Rooney book, which I loved. I didn't love it as much as normal people, but it still left a really big impression on me and is a book that I can see myself thinking about for years upon years. And then I finished People We Meet on Vacation, and I gave this 2 stars. While I did enjoy some of the comedic elements of this story, it was just too slow for me. We kept going between the past and the present and previous vacations that Alex and Poppy went on before their friendship fell apart, and then their present vacation that they're on in order to rekindle their friendship. And that structure really sucks me out of the story when we continually go between two different timelines. It made me not invested in the characters, and I didn't really care about the previous vacations that they went on. And overall, this story just was not for me. It was too dry. I wasn't really invested, and just the structure of it was not my cup of tea. So it took me a very long time to get through this, but I'm really glad I was able to finish it in time to finish this vlog. And by the time I finished this book, I hit the 24-hour mark. So I was able to read 3 full books within 24 hours. I do believe if I enjoyed more of the books that I picked up, I probably could have read more, because when I enjoy a story, I don't want to put it down and I want to read for hours. But because I read People We Meet on a Vacation and Anyone's Ghost, and I didn't really enjoy those 2 stories, it took me a very long time to get through. But I'm really happy that I tried out this challenge and figured out it was not for me. I am not up to time-based challenges. I don't even think I'm up to challenges anymore. I used to be a competitive person as a teenager, but that feeling has completely left me as an adult, and I no longer want to compete in challenges, and I don't want to deal with any added stresses into my life. So this was a fun challenge to take part in and to try out myself, but I can finally say it is not for me, and I'm very glad that it's over. But let me know if there are any specific reading vlogs or movie vlogs or lifestyle vlogs you would like to see from me in the future. If you have not followed me over on TikTok and Instagram, where I post content that you won't see here, be sure to follow me over there. My links will be in my description. And if you have not subscribed still already, be sure to do so to see more videos from me in the future. If you have stayed this far in the video, comment down a clock emoji so we can see who stays for the longest in all my videos. If you do, I really appreciate it, and I will see you in another video very soon. Bye!